Okay, hello everyone. This is the SIG Instrumentation meeting. Happy Halloween. It's October 31st. We actually only have a relatively short agenda today, which is basically reiterating everything that we are doing for 1.17. If anyone has any other items they would like to discuss, you can still put them on the agenda. I don't know if everyone is aware of the pull requests that are linked in the agenda item, but essentially what's happening right now is that I forgot actually his name. His handle is Rainbow Mango on GitHub. He's working through a bunch of the work for the metric stability framework to allow switching deprecated metrics that would technically, by the rules of the metrics stability framework, already be hidden by default, to be able to enable those again. And yeah, these are the pull requests related to that. Any comments that people want to mention regarding this, or yeah, comments?
Yeah, I have a question. Are there multiple PRs now?
As far as I understand, yes. But I was pinged on most of them yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to look at all of them. There's one that I understand is mostly preparation for all the other ones. Yeah.
Okay, the only one that I've seen is the API server one. There was a bunch of discussion on there that happened that, like, I mean, I was a little, I guess, concerned just that, like, design discussion was happening in a PR as opposed to in a CAP. I think that we need some CAP changes happening. One of the things that came out of the discussion on there was the suggestion that the show hidden metrics flag takes a parameter of the, like, latest major version of Kubernetes, assuming that, like, the second number is the major version in this case. So, like, for example, 116. So that way, if somebody wants to show hidden metrics in the 116 release and they upgrade to 117 and they don't want to see them anymore, they're not confused about which version. There was also some sort of unrelated but somewhat related discussion about the ability to just selectively turn off any metric at runtime, which we don't have a cap for, in order to avoid the problem of, like, oh no, we have this, like, metric that's exponentially growing and you know, it's causing memory leaks, and we don't want to have to do a full Kubernetes version upgrade in order to fix the memory leak. So both of those things were discussed. I don't know if there's been any follow-up in terms of turning those into caps or that kind of thing.
I see. So I think all of those are, everything you said makes sense, but I do agree that they should be separate caps. I don't feel like they necessarily belong in the metric stability framework per se. Specifically, the later one, I think, is like it's a great feature. I think I would love to have that, but it doesn't seem like it needs to be part of this effort.
Yes, I think that that should be a separate cap, but for some reason it came up in that issue. In terms of the other one, so that's like a specific request in terms of implementation for how to do the metric stability thing.
Yeah.
And so the idea being, you want to show hidden metrics in the 116 release. So if you accidentally, like, you know, you upgrade to 117, you don't change any of your command line flags, and you don't, like, I guess, keep seeing hidden metrics that you don't want to see, or deprecated metrics that you don't want to see. There was a concern raised by someone from one of the other SIGs about that. And so that, I have the question of, like, should we be updating the cap to reflect that? There's also been some back and forth as to whether the showing hidden metrics should be a feature flag or a CLI flag, because currently, like, it's just sort of a binary on-off thing for the entire binary. But the caps says that you should be able to specify specific metrics that you want to show or hide. It's not an all or nothing thing. So I'm not sure if we should be doing it as a feature flag for the sort of, like, interim case, because it's an all or nothing thing right now.
Got it. When exactly is code freeze for 117? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
November 14th, says the doc, all the way up.
Okay.
Oh, so right before KubeCon.
Yeah, and basically 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. My general feeling is that I feel similar to what you said. I feel like a bunch of new things came up that we haven't thought of or haven't thought through entirely previously. I do feel that we need to discuss these things more in form of the CAP to make sure that we're all aligned on what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, currently this stuff is showing as work in progress. And the thing is, I actually when I was looking into this, I picked this up, I was looking to do a very similar thing for the 116 release with a feature flag. I sort of ran out of time. But the thing is, we currently don't have any metrics marked as ready for deprecation. So there's no strict need to have this flag in yet. I don't think there's a rush. I mean, that was the conclusion of the 116 release. I don't know if anything's changed for the 117 release. But given that these discussions are coming up, this PR is still in draft state. I know that, I don't know his name, but Rainbow Mango was talking about getting this in for the 117 release. But we're past enhancements freeze, and this is an enhancement, so I'm not really sure. I think that Han is under the impression that we can continue with development sort of targeted for the next release without having to get it into 117, so we can continue to have these discussions. But I'm under the impression that Rainbow Mango may be trying to get the stuff in for 117. I don't know that makes sense without a KEP update. So I just wanted to see where everyone's at on that and maybe what next steps we should take. I mean, I think that the KEPs need to be updated before we proceed, but.
Yeah, I also feel like the CAP needs to be updated on these things. Yeah, I guess we need to. It's sad that Han maybe isn't here today, so we could have heard his thoughts. Maybe we can make sure to have him comment on things on Slack or in this document, just so we understand whether the idea was right now to, as you said, continue development but targeted for 118, or if we actually want to have it in 117.
Yeah, we should probably point him to the recording so he gets a chance to catch up. I spoke with him yesterday because we're working on a talk together for KubeCon, and he was recently on paternity leave, so he's got lots of stuff going on right now.
Yeah. Okay, but it feels like we should hear his input before we make a final decision on anything. Does that sound fair to everyone?
Absolutely.
Okay. Other than that, we don't really have much on the agenda. Is there anything that anybody would like to discuss? Otherwise, maybe we can talk a little bit about KubeCon. Not, then I'll go ahead. So I talked a little bit, I think last time we talked about having kind of a meeting for SIG instrumentation at KubeCon in San Diego. And it's a little bit different of a format than there was in Barcelona. So there's a specific hallway track essentially for the contributor summit, where there will be chairs and whiteboards and stuff like that set up everywhere. So what I was recommended was that we designate a couple of people who in the morning basically squat a couple of seats and the whiteboard at the contributor summit. And then we gather there and do the discussions that we wanted to do in person. I mean, I'm going to be there anyways, and I guess a bunch of my team as well. So I think we could take that on, and then maybe we can communicate via Slack where we are. But I guess the venue for the contributor summit isn't actually that huge, so I would expect that we should be able to find each other anyways.
So that sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good from my side too. So that there won't be a dedicated room, like last time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there will not be dedicated rooms. There will be. My understanding is there are 2 large rooms for the beginner and advanced contributor summit, and like the advanced contributor summit or intermediate. I'm not exactly sure about the wording, but or existing contributor summit.
Yeah,
I think
so.
That is basically us, and we can take one of those tables, and the new contributor summit is a separate room where there's a workshop going on, and I think Tarek is helping out on that, for example. Yeah.
So we also don't have a specific time set yet.
No, there's no specific timing for anything. It's pretty free form. So I would suggest that we try to meet after lunch or something like that. That's what I've been suggested, but I'm totally open to anything. We can also just do it in the morning, and then.
Let's do it in the morning. I will be jet lagged.
Okay, I guess a lot of us probably will be. At least folks in this call, I think, are largely from Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I'm not from Europe, but I'm coming back from Europe on Thursday, so I'm going to be equally jet lagged.
Okay, well, I guess it's decided then. Then let's do it in the morning.
Yeah, and I think I'm supposed to be doing the SIG meet and greet for us or something like that, and that's in the afternoon, so we should try not to conflict with that.
Okay, even better then. Let's try to meet in the morning. I guess we'll grab some breakfast at the contributor summit and then start our in-person meetings. Sounds good to everyone?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. Any other topics that people would like to discuss? I guess if not, remember it and take it to the contributor summit.
Oh, I have a question. I think our next meeting is scheduled for the 14th, which is right before KubeCon. Are we going to keep that meeting?
Actually, it's great that you mentioned that because I am on a flight during that meeting.
So am I.
So I guess it's probably best to skip that meeting and make sure that whatever we put on the agenda for that meeting, should there be anything, we discuss it in person then.
Yeah, somebody had already put on the agenda, it might have even been me, for that meeting, skip in preparation for KubeCon ? So I'll maybe remove the question mark and mark it as canceled. And then I'll put an agenda maybe on here for our in-person meeting, which will be on the 18th.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay then. Looks like
Great.
We're out of topics for today then. In that case, see you all at the Contributor Summit. Bye.
Cool, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.